Okay, everything's still red, but we're going to push on anyway. I'm missing 12% of these frames, so you might not be seeing anything at all. All right, let's go over to Ghidra. Over here in Ghidra, I've already imported one binary, and it's not really the one we're going to be analyzing. That's the client. Okay, so the only thing that I've imported, I've started a new project in Ghidra, and I dropped in our client binary, the Pwn Adventure 3.exe, but I'm actually going to want to really drop in a different file because I'm betting that the actual client itself doesn't have very much in it, and the reason that I'm betting that is because we had in our Pwn Adventure 3 directory structure, we had a binaries Win32 folder that had gamelogic.dll and a gamelogic PDB. That tells me that gamelogic is pretty standard naming convention for this type of file. It's going to be the dynamic link library that has basically all the important stuff in it. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to drop that into Ghidra. Literally just drag and drop. So in Windows, of course, binaries are generally going to be considered PEs. If you're on a Linux system, binaries are going to be ELF files, ELF files. We'd also import this as a raw binary, but that's okay. We'll keep it as a portable executable. Destination folder, yes, okay. Let's see if we have options here. Process to define labels. We are going to, yeah, these are all fine. When this is done, when Ghidra is done with the intake on this, we are going to go to that PDB file, and we're going to import that as well. Now, if you watched the first video, you might have already heard, but the PDB file is generally not included with client packages like this. It contains essentially debug information, and that's actually great for us because while we can mod and hack this or create our own patches without that PDB file, we would be spending a lot of time in our reverse engineering process figuring out, what things are. But the PDB file will allow us to import a lot of those labels and symbols that the developers used, and then we won't have to do any guessing. We'll be able to see more or less what they saw when the code was written, provided our disassembler, of course, can do so in a way that is pseudo-reliable. So we're going to let this do its thing. And when you get done with the import process here in Ghidra, you're going to end up with this summary result. And it's just going to give you a little breakdown of everything that I was able to find. You might want to look it over to see if it looks accurate to you. We can see the compiler that it believes it was compiled with was Visual Studio. I can tell you 100% that that is the case, and I only know that because I've done a little bit of research on Pwn Adventure since this. Yeah, okay. Nothing really else to say here, I guess. Nothing important anyway, I guess. All right, so now that's up. Now, Ghidra has the ability to import that PDB file and do an analysis on the code when we get to this next section. Ghidra is written in Java, but the process of doing the PDB intake is a pdb.exe. It's a binary on its own, as a standalone binary that was actually written in Visual Studio 2017. So when you run the PDB intake process, you might get an error that the DIA SDK isn't installed, and so it can't do the intake. When you see this error message, what it means is that you don't have Visual Studio 2017 available, or any of the dependencies for that, which is, of course, normal because it's 2021. So if you have Visual Studio 2019, or if you don't, go out and get it. But you're going to maybe have to go through one extra process where you basically need to register the DLL for the DIA. DIA is Debug Interface Access. And it's just going to need that DLL in order to read the debug information here out of the PDB file. So I will post a link on Canvas. No, wait, I don't need to post a link on Canvas. Let me show you what you need to do if you run into that problem. And again, you could, of course, just kind of press on and continue without doing the PDB. It will just make your life a little bit more difficult. But if you want to fix it, here's the Ghidra. This is 912. This is, let me go up to the top here. Yeah, so Ghidra 912 public. Here we have our Ghidra run, and up here we have docs. And then we have, is it docs? Maybe Ghidra class. No, that's not it. Docs. Oh, here it is. Under docs is readme.pdb. Sure. All right. So if you open up this site, the HTML file, it will give you some information on exactly what the PDB parser does, and what this DIA SDK dependency is. And then essentially what you're going to have to do, right? So if you get that error message, you can either install Visual Studio 2017, or you can do 2019, and then register this DLL here. And you know, if need be, if you really had to, they do include in Ghidra. Let's see, it's under Ghidra features, PDB, source, PDB. So they do include the solution and project file for the PDB binary. You could always install Visual Studio 2019, open up the solution in there, and head it off that way. I'm sure there's documentation on that online as well. So hopefully you're able to figure that out. If not, you can press on without it. But if need be, maybe what I'll do is I'll maybe try and help you out a little bit by just going ahead and importing the solution to Visual Studio and compiling a new pdb.exe for 2019. Maybe that would be helpful to you. I don't know. We'll see. I got a lot of work I got to do. All right. Anyway, so let's go ahead and open up Game Logic here. There's Ghidra doing its thing. Game logic has not been analyzed. Would you like to analyze it now? Yes, I would. We're going to just use the default here. I don't see any reason not to. While we're doing that, because we do have our game client running, I'm going to go over to Cheat Engine, and I'm going to target the process, Pwn Adventure 3. And the analysis in Ghidra is running. See here, this is going on. We got this populating. It's doing its thing here. In the meantime, I will log into the game client. My character with the admin is Professor Admin Johnson. You see now. You see why I'm using the character here, the admin character. It's so much better than anything that standard users have. I almost picked the policeman too, but you can see my team name here too. Pretty ponies. All right, so yeah, effectively nothing is different here. I've got 2 quests though. One of them you didn't see before, but that's going to be one of our assignments anyway, so we'll get to that later. All right, so here we are in my inventory. I don't have anything here in my inventory. I don't have any Pwn coins. I don't have any ammo or anything. So maybe I should go kill some rats. I'm gonna go kill some rats. Okay, so what my plan is, let me start by explaining what I'm going to be doing here. So we're going to be doing some static analysis in Ghidra. We're going to see if we can identify the variable names and such for some of our important character features, like our health and our mana and our number of Pwn coins. Those are the 3 things that we really want to adjust. Now, in order to do that, after we do our static analysis, or maybe even before, depending on how long it takes, we're going to be also doing a little bit of dynamic analysis or inferences with Cheat Engine, warehouse and sewer access. And we're going to do that by essentially finding the current fixed value of those variables changing them in the game, and then searching to see if that value changed to the new value, and then we will know the memory address of our whatever variable it happens to be. And I'm going to kill some giant rats because I don't have any points on this admin character, and I need some. Come on, pick it up. That was pistol ammo. Really would like to get at least one Pwn coin, though. It would be good. Right? Yeah, okay, that was just pistol ammo. These rats ain't drop. No, oh, come on. It's not like there's a lot going on here on my machine. Like, this is literally all I'm doing. I have some tabs open, that's it. Nothing but the best. Nothing but the best. Come on, drop something, rats. See that glitch? I wonder if only the rats at the end of the tunnel drop things, because I remember the first time we came through here, the only drops we had were over here on this side as well, so maybe? Stingy rats. Come on, give me your money. Nothing. Okay. Stingy rats. Okay, well, I got some pistol ammo, and I can probably sell that for Pwn coins, so... Definitely going to want to work on infinite mana, too, because it actually goes through pretty fast if you're clicking here. Alright, so here we are. It looks like Ghidra has finally finished doing its thing, too, as we did. So, let's go back to Ghidra. Oh, see, here's the error that you might get. PDB error, unable to locate the DSDK, is required to load PDB files. See docs, PDB, okay, DLL registration instructions, which we... Maybe I didn't do. Maybe I was saving it. All right. See, I did do the registration. In this case, the path is going to be different because I have Visual Studio 2019. I wonder if Ghidra is hard-coded to look at that other path, though, because this was successful. So it looks like I might be importing this into Visual Studio and recompiling it and retargeting it for 2019 anyway. So if I do, I will just... go ahead and put that up on Canvas for everybody too. I might as well if I'm going to do it for myself. I don't know, but we'll just go on for now anyway. Just to do what we do, and we'll get the PDB in here later. Okay, so let's just, I guess, quick look around here. So here we have, this is our. Let me explain what we're looking at, I suppose. We are going to be going into more detail on all of this in our assignments, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it right now. But I guess since I got a couple minutes here in part 2, let's do it. So if you are not familiar with disassemblers, Ghidra in particular, you might not know what you're looking at. But what we have over here in the middle is essentially the instructions of our DLL. By instructions, I mean if I go down the, let me go to a function here. What I'm getting at as far as instructions go is indeed we have assembly instructions, right? Here's call, move, lee, or we have EBX, EAX, and such. These are assembly instructions, right? Here we have the command, and over here we have reference to memory registers and different variables and such. Talk to Michelangelo in the... See, we have some comments here too. Talk to Michelangelo in the... Drop this into Notepad. Can't read it all. Talk to Michelangelo in the bungalow. That's, for some reason it's named that, and that's what this variable equals. Clearly this is like quest text, excuse me. That's really hard to say. Quest text or something. And so what we're looking for is, you know, anything that might be interesting, maybe references to mana or health or pwn coins or something. Looks like we've got static link, steal the Cow King's Thunder. Yeah, these are definitely like pop-ups or tooltips or something like that. Kill the Cow King. Yeah, these definitely seem like quests. So that's assembly instructions. Now, when I clicked on that function, it started to do a decompile on that function, and it's still running it. Hopefully will be done shortly. But obviously, we're not looking at code here, right? These are just assembly instructions. So Ghidra has taken the DLL, and it has basically read through and said, okay, what is line by line? What is this doing? And it's recording those instructions as they're taken in and displaying it here for us. It's not usable code, though, right? It's assembly instructions. Now, if you don't know how to read assembly, don't panic. You're not going to need to know how to read assembly for this course. I'm just showing you what you're looking at. Now, the decompile on that function is complete, and over here on the right-hand side, you can see something that looks a lot more like familiar code, right? We've got the function, we've got variables here, right? We've got cars, ints, bools, etc., etc. And if we go a little bit further down, we have if statements, else, we have all kinds of stuff here that looks a lot more like familiar code. Now, it's not great, and the reason it's not great is because we don't have any of those original variable names or function names or anything that the developers used. Those aren't part of what is compiled into the application. So when the program is written, it's written using a programming language, and that programming language is pseudo-English so that we can understand it. We give variables names so that we can understand the significance of those variables. But as far as the computer goes, it doesn't know the difference between the letter A or, you know, the letters APPLE and how it signifies apple. And we could get into a whole big thing about semiotics and computer programming here. But suffice to say that the computer just doesn't care what the variables are named as long as they are unique, and so it can tell them apart. So when it's compiled, it's converted from that pseudo-English into a machine code so that the computer can understand it, and those would be our assembly instructions, right? So it's just, what do you want me to do in the order you want me to do it? Now, since we're reverse engineering that, we can now infer that there is, in fact, a variable that fulfills a certain role. Like, for example, we have a variable here, s_steal thunder underscore, and then this address number that contains the string steal thunder. We know that, but we don't know that it was originally called s_steal thunder. Ghidra is calling it that because it's a string, and the string contains steal thunder, so it's trying to make it make some kind of a sense, right? But for those that it doesn't, we can see that we just have like local 8, local 144, and all of our functions, since we don't know the name of them, are just fun underscore and then the address and such. So this is what takes a little bit of reverse engineering. This is what it takes some learning in order to figure out, right? Because we have to go through, we have to say, okay, so local 18 or local 1C equals 0. Okay, now where is that used? And what does that mean? And what is it doing? And that's what reverse engineering is. Now, to make this a little bit easier for us, as we go through, we can change the names of these variables, and it will change them globally. So anywhere local underscore 1c appears, it will put the new name in there. So I'll just do test underscore name. And there it goes. It's now reading through there, and it's changing that variable name everywhere it might appear, and it has to go through the decompile process again to do that. But when it does, it will change local 1 underscore 1c to test underscore name everywhere it appears. And so that means that, you know, once, like, let's say I do find a variable that equates to my Pwn coins, and it's, you know, I don't know, like local or global underscore whatever. Oh, look at that. We have a coin VF table here. I just noticed right there. Wonder if that's our Pwn coins. And you can, by the way, in case you haven't seen what I've been doing, you can double click on these and it will take you to the code that's being referenced, right? So if there's a call to a function, you can click on that function name and it will take you to that function. And I just clicked on the coin VFT table. And we can see that it's referenced in a good number of places. We also have here we have an actor factory class for Angry Bear. Excuse me. Balmer Peak Egg. Cowboy Coder, that's the revolver that we saw. Static Link, that's probably another item or something. We have Angry Bear, and we have a bear class as well. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. Okay, there you go. Now that the functions or the decompile is done running a second time, you can see my test name here now is renamed. See, and we can see in the assembly instructions it's also renamed. So now we can see that there is a move keyword pointer from the register at EBP plus test name to EBX. Is that 2? Is this Intel syntax? I think it is. When you're reading, again, you don't need to know how to read assembly for this course, but the thought I was just having just now is there's different types of assembly code, and some of them use different syntax. So especially when it comes to the move calls, it might be move to this location, or from this location to this location, or to this location to this, or from this to this location from this location, right? So it might mix up the direction of travel there. Okay, so I did find the coin VFT table here. I'm not going to do a lot of editing right now because we are super just like I would say what I'm going to be doing today is barely recon. Really, all I'm doing is just kind of opening up the hood, taking a quick peek, poking around a little bit. I'm not going to be taking any notes. Probably not going to be doing any serious changes or anything. This is just me just peeling it apart a little bit and getting things kind of set up to look at it later. But I am, however, going to bookmark the coins table here. I don't have a category. I'll just coins. Coins VF table. Okay, I got a bookmark. I'm just waiting for this thing to do its thing. All right, poke around while we're doing this. So yeah, you can see over here on the left-hand side, we have our program trees or symbol tree and our data type manager. We don't need to worry about those too much right now, but if I expand the symbol tree, you can see without that PDB file, we have we have no names for our classes. Oh, we do have some. Cave spider. What's this? Client world? Okay, that might... Cliff rat spawner. Okay, that might be important. Here we have the coin table. We got coin, cowboy coder, cow chest, cow king spawner, cow level designation. Weird that all of this is under coin. All right. Under coin, we have our base class array, base class descriptor, hierarchy, configure. We'll get into all of this in a little bit. There's our table that we had. Okay, I just taking a look at it. We have this Balmer Peak egg thing too. Oh, and a Balmer Peak poster. What is this? I only noticed that because one of the assignments is to find all of the eggs, and I see that there's something named egg here, so maybe that will be important. An AK rifle. So that's our classes. What do we have under labels? Game API connect to get achievements. Get game server, get golden egg count. Okay, so yeah, get golden egg list. That might be important. Get golden egg list at game API. All right. Class, item pickup. All right. We're on to something already. We've just been poking around for a couple seconds here. Loot tier, get item by name. So there is a label here, get item by name. And there we can do an API call for that, looks like. So if I can find, push comes to shove, and I'm just thinking of like different ways I can accomplish what I want to accomplish. So for Pwn coins, if I can get the item name for Pwn coins, and I can make this API call, I should be able to just give myself Pwn coins, right? I'm just getting item by name, if it works the way that I think it works, which it might not, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing yet, so. Give all. Let's give all. All right. Let's start. All right, I'm at 26 minutes on part 2. So let's put Ghidra on the back burner. I'm gonna do a next part, and we're gonna get back to Cheat Engine, and we're gonna start poking around interactively with the game. And then I'll probably, for the last part, the part 4, there'll probably be some time between the end of part 3 and part 4, just while I'm kind of thinking about what I want to do and maybe trying a couple of things, simply because, you know, having 4-hour-long videos of me chasing down, you know, following down rabbit holes and coming up empty is not going to be a good use of your time. So we'll do a part 3 where I'm just kind of doing a little bit of dynamic analysis, and then part 4 I will come back to you after I have some things worked out, and I'll tell you how I did it. So let's move on to part 3.